Hi everyone, I'm Elisha Herzog, and in this video, I'll walk through how to use the sales formula worksheet. But before we get started, just a quick note. We did use real Seller Central and Vendor Central accounts to create this video. However, we can't do a live demo because then you'd see our client's information. So what I've done is taken some screenshots to demonstrate how you would use the UI to populate your worksheet. I hope that makes sense. But let's jump into the Seller Central view. So from your UI, you would go to the Reports and Business Reports section. And then under Date, you could just default to that first one, Sales and Traffic, which is what the screenshot's showing you. The next thing you'll want to do is configure the time period. So we've got year to date, but it could be last month, it could be last year. It's whatever is the right view for what you're trying to evaluate. There's a couple of sections of this report that I've highlighted, which are going to be important in the actual worksheet. So we'll talk about them. We've got ordered product sales and units ordered, page views, sessions, and then shipped product sales and units shipped. So first we need to talk about the revenue inputs. You need to make a decision between the shipped and the ordered revenue. And the difference is really timing. If I place an order right now, that revenue is going to map back to ordered product sales, and the units are going to be mapping back to the units ordered. That item may ship today, it may ship next week. Until it leaves Amazon's warehouses, it's not going to appear in the shipped product sales and units shipped columns. So there's a timing issue. In terms of traffic, there's two selections to choose from. So the difference between these two is really just like unique visitors. So if I'm on Amazon's page, and I'm looking at an item and I look at it 5 times, say in a 24-hour period, that's going to count as 5 page views. However, Sessions dedupes that. So it would take those 5 page views and reduce that down to just 1 session. The other thing to consider is that page views also captures non-human activities. So if there are bots or other things like scraping the detail pages for data, it's going to count that activity and inflate the page views. So personally, I like to use sessions because I think it's more reflective of the customer journey and human activity. And also, I'm going to default to the order product sales and units ordered because I like to keep my sales formula results kind of closely aligned. So in order to buy something, convert on it, you have to first look at it. And I like to keep those two things as close to when someone looked at it and converted as possible. I could look at something and order it, but it might not ship till next week. And so that's what I mean by having those two things kind of disconnected. Another thing to consider is that the advertising reporting uses ordered product sales. So if you're trying to keep your comparison as close to like an apples to apples comparison as possible, then using the ordered product sales and units in your sales formula will help you align that to your advertising reports. So whatever you decide, you're going to pop into the worksheet, and in the download, there's going to be 2 views, a Seller Central worksheet and a Vendor Central worksheet. Just make sure you're using the right worksheet relative to the UI where you conduct your Amazon business. So you'll start by just noting that time frame, which in this case was 7/15/2025 and year to date. And then you're just really going to copy and paste the information from Seller Central into the report. I have to manually type it, so bear with me as I do this. So we'll just use 2 million and then 100,000 as examples. And once you do that, it's automatically going to calculate the ASP or the average sales price based on those inputs. In this case, that's $20. Okay. And then in terms of the traffic input, whatever you decide, just want to be consistent across the board. So you'll want to use that same, input, either ordered or shipped for the units, and then sessions both for this year and then the prior year. So as you can see, once I put those three inputs in, it calculated the sales formula results. And based on these results, what we can see is that it took 5 million visitors to your product pages. And those visitors, about 2% of that traffic converted into paying customers at a $20 ASP. And those three things combined led to the $2 million in sales. This number, of course, is going to match this number, but this just really helps you identify what the controllable inputs are relative to your sales results. So once you have that information, you're going to go back into Seller Central and you're going to just update the time period to be that prior year. In this case, it's year to date. So we would just update the starting and the end dates from 2025 to 2024, and then copy and paste that information into the worksheet. So we'll just use 1 million and 50,000. And 3 million for those prior year values. I'm just like in my head counting all the zeros. It'll be much easier when you just copy and paste the information. And as you can see, once I did that, it automatically calculated the year-over-year change. So, based on all this fake data, this looks like a really healthy business, but your results will be different. And again, based on the sales formula performance and what those year-over-year results are, you may be able to isolate what the controllable inputs are that are driving your results, be it a year-over-year increase or a decline. Typically, what I see is a huge traffic decline when a business is in trouble, or the ASP has dropped because the marketplace has become more competitive. I still see conversion changes, but usually traffic and ASP are the key contributors to what's driving a business either to grow or decline, and then that will help you identify how to tackle whatever those results are. So that's really it. We'll dive now into the Vendor Central view. So from the left nav, you're going to go to Reports and Retail Analytics. And then in this view, the thing to recognize is that there are actually two reports to get the information you need to calculate your sales formula results. So we'll start with that Sales tab and some sales reports. And you'll start by configuring that same time period. In this case, this screenshot is showing year to date. I know it's very small. And then you'll want to check this box for year over year. And that's going to help you just automatically calculate those year over year results. So there won't be a need to run this report twice if you check that box. And then same thing as with the Seller Central view, you'll need to decide what revenue input you want to use, be it ordered revenue and ordered units or shipped revenue and shipped units. So once you make that decision, you'll just copy the data. We'll go over to the Vendor Central worksheet. You'll note that time frame 7/15/2025. And then you'll just copy that over. We'll use the same 2 million. And then we'll just use 25% for the sake of simplicity. Okay, and again, it just automatically calculates the ASP. So now you'll need to go over to the Traffic tab and then configure the report to match that same time period as your sales information, in this case, year to date. Check that same box for year over year. And if you do those things, then the data that populates, and there's only one option, the featured offer page views is the only option for traffic. And this is basically views where the vendor's offer is winning the buy box. That's what that means. Some feel that it's more closely aligned to the sessions versus the page views in that Seller Central view. So just keep that in mind. And then also, in case this is the first time you're seeing it, it used to be called glance views. So that can cause some confusion because they've changed the name. So you'll just copy and paste these values over here. We'll use 5 million and 25%. And then when you have those inputs, it'll automatically populate your sales formula results. So listen, I spent 17 years inside Amazon, helping thousands of brands grow their business with this simple formula. And since leaving Amazon, I've helped even more brands use the sales formula and our digital pedigree sales growth framework to achieve predictable, scalable growth. Because it's not magic, it's really just math. And so if you need help interpreting your results or identifying the controllable inputs that will unlock your next stage of growth, we'd love to connect with you. We've been doing this for a long time, and we can pretty quickly identify what to change to transform your business. So right here at the bottom, you can just click this link and you'll be able to book a free 30-minute strategy session where we can just review your results and help you convert your sales formula into a strategic action plan. Thank you for watching and take care.